There's only two places on the NASCAR circuit that allow drivers to hold the throttle flat to the floor for an entire lap. One of those tracks is Daytona International Speedway, where we started our season 13 races ago. Construction on the other superspeedway began 50 years ago in May of 1968. There's a fear in the air here, a fear only made stronger with the prospects of a championship trophy looming in the near future. Pack racing, close quarters, drafting, big crashes. Even with Daytona's famed Florida banks, there's no place quite like this. This is Talladega. Welcome to round 14 of the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series, the Unreal 250. Finian, we're going to eliminate another driver at the end of the night. There's only one driver who is safe.
Yeah, I was going to say, Greg Evans with a nearly dominant season here in the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series. Done a fantastic job all season and doing it again in the playoffs. Again, mathematically locked in to the finals here, so he's going to be safe and sitting pretty and doesn't have to worry about this, but everyone else does. And this is really a kind of question mark on guys' calendars. Really anyone could be eliminated here tonight.
And you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, the drivers that are still in the Fuel Finals are highlighted in purple. And at the end of the night, one driver will be eliminated. The drivers on the bubble are going to be Travis McQuistion and Rick Thompson. Remember, Thompson won Daytona back in, I believe it was the end of August. So it's been a little while since Thompson's seen victory lane, but he's going to need to find it again here tonight. Again, Greg Evans, the only driver safe in this number 2 car we're riding on board with here. But Thompson, again, in the number 76, started out the season with a bang and rattled off a couple victories early in the season, but as of late has struggled to find his way back up to the front. And again, this is our first time back with the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series in quite some time. We were off for a month broadcasting the Integrity Racing League's Truck Series chase, but now we're back and finishing off the last 4 rounds of the season. And finishing the next couple races that are coming up. We've got Atlanta coming up, Gateway, and a couple other tracks, but there's a lot on the line here tonight. And if we know anything about Talladega, it's that it's extremely unpredictable.
Yeah, extremely unpredictable indeed. And notably also, McQuistion is the one who's currently in position for being knocked out. He's only 4 points behind, however, from Rick Thompson. So, asked to finish 4 places in front of him or find some other bonus points here tonight to try to get ahead of that 76.
And that number 93 car, McQuistion, he's been really good this year, but hasn't quite found his way into victory lane yet, so he really is looking to get a good finish here today. But Finian, we look at restrictor plate races as being wild cards. With the current state of the drafting package, do you still think that that's true? I mean, it seems like the best drivers still rise to the top at the end of these races regardless.
Yeah, it's definitely it's more of a wild card, not as far as the finishing order, in my opinion. I think it's more of a wild card as far as the big wrecks being involved, because we're going to have nearly all 30 of these guys in a pack by themselves. So one driver messes up, it could take out a lot of contenders and a lot of potential playoff contenders as well. So that could really shake off the playoff grid.
And the rest of the drivers completing their qualifying laps here. Zach Buchanan, the number 40. Here's a guy that's been looking for success lately, and Had a troubled time at Pocono a couple weeks ago, looking to get himself back on track and headed to the front. Comes across the line and puts himself 6th on the board, immediately knocked back down to 7th and then 8th. But look who's also near the top, Brian Bliss in the number 17. We haven't seen him here in a couple weeks, and again, another driver that was extremely competitive back at Daytona.
Yeah, it took a little bit of a ride through the grass, though. It's always in the intro, yeah, but is here on the top of the boards at the moment, slightly falling back as Perry is now taking provisional pole.
And Dwayne Culberson in the 81 Mountain Dew car here this week, normally in the number 1 machine, but a little bit of a number and paint scheme swap mid-season here. But Culberson, of course, knocked out of the Fuel Finals a couple weeks ago, and is unfortunately not going to be able to race for a championship. But he can still race for some wins here today, Finney, and this is a great place to do it. It's not a road course, it's not a short track. Some people would like to argue that there's not as much skill involved. What's your take on that?
My opinion is that it's definitely involves skill, but not the same skill set as we see at traditional racetracks. It involves a lot of knowledge of the draft, how to work with the draft, you know, putting yourself in certain situations, removing yourself from certain situations, and finding yourself working with others to get to the top of the pack. It requires a much different skill set. And like you were saying earlier, you typically see, even with this newer drafting package too, it really kind of shows the skill in people who are able to work their way up through the field, as it's harder than ever now with the way the draft is now.
Of course, we got 30 cars on the grid here. Quite a big grid for late in the season here in the Rigshare Fuel Cup Series, but with large car counts comes lots of risk. So it's a 94-lap race, not a short one at all here tonight. So what is that? How does that change your strategy? We got a couple fuel runs to go through, but 15, 20 laps to go, maybe make your way forward, or are you a guy that wants to be up front the whole night?
I would say, honestly, for the first half of this race, which is, again, I'm trying to do quick math here, 48 laps. It should be right. No, it's 94 laps.
94 laps.
47. There we go. Yeah, so 47. It's 47 laps till halfway. I would say, honestly, just pace yourself those first 47 laps. You really don't have to go anywhere. Just keep yourself out of trouble is really, I guess, the key. And then from after the halfway point, then start trying to move yourself up towards the front. And then 20 laps to go, really start making sure you're in the front, top 5, top 10. So that would be my plan. Going into this race, because again, a wreck can happen at any time, and you don't want to find yourself being right in front of it.
And Calvin Flarski will be carrying one of our gyro onboard cameras here. And this is a fun place to have a gyro cam off in the corners. There is lots of banking at this racetrack. 33, 34 degrees, if my memory serves me correctly. It's a lot as we drive off into turn 3 here. Look at how much these cars bank down. It's very difficult to actually walk up the racetrack on foot, but these cars need every ounce of the banking that they can get, well over 195, 200 miles an hour off into turn 3. And actually, our speed estimations through ATVO this week are very inaccurate just due to the high speed. There's a lot of debouncing going on, so those won't be very useful tonight. It was showing some cars at 230 earlier, which is definitely not the case. We're not driving any car here tonight.
I was going to say, even in the IndyCars too, last night I noticed at one point someone was going 243 miles an hour.
That's definitely not the case. There's some, obviously, ATVO doesn't take the speed directly from the sim. It has to do its own calculation, and there was a couple small glitches in a recent update that made the scoring get a little funky and blink out every once in a while. So some issues to work out there, but of course, ATVO by Nick this in free open source software, and it allows us to do this, so we want to give them a huge shout out here. But Filarski worked his way around, only able to improve himself up to 17th the last time through, so not going to be a phenomenal qualifying effort for the number 39.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, probably one of the worst places to qualify is in midfield. Like, I think you would want to either be towards the front or the back, not so much in the middle, because that's where a lot of the wrecks can end up happening.
Nick Cohan in the number 21, he's coming across the line for his first lap and going to lay down. Looks like, actually, that was his warm-up lap there, so he'll come around one more time, but Cohan didn't actually lay down any laps in practice, so I'm not really sure where the speed of this number 21 car is, and we're waiting to see where it comes across the line. And the number 56 in Norman Pelletier, who's qualified second right now, is running a nearly identical paint scheme. The only difference between them is the logos on the side of the car and the purple banner above the windshield of that number 21, indicating that he is one of the Fuel Finals drivers. Running the high lane in turns 3 and 4. And if any, this is how you like to qualify every time you come to a plate track. The first couple laps, your warm-up lap and your first flying lap, you want to be right up against that wall and carry a ton of momentum onto that second lap.
Yeah, that's really the best way to put it, because the first lap's kind of the throwaway lap, because you're going to pick up speed as you continue on. So it's best to try to run the high line, and that's where you see drivers on typical ovals just get runs off of the corner because they're higher up, so they're able to generate more momentum. And just use that same principle here on the qualifying lap, build up the momentum the first lap, and then go down for the second lap. It'll make you even faster.
So let's take a look at the lap gap side. Obviously, you just have the overall relative to the leader on the left-hand side, but from my position, I could see the interval between drivers, Finian. Between first and second, 1/1000th of a second. Between second and third, 100th. Third and fourth, 1,000th. Fourth and fifth, 2,000ths. I mean, it is just knife's edge in terms of raw speed around here.
It's one of those places where if you were to line all these cars up by how far they were from the line, they would all be within a nose of each other. It's incredibly, it's amazing how close these guys are.
But yeah, again, we're talking about the banking here on Talladega Superspeedway, and about 15 Mikeys tall down in the corner. It's several stories, I can tell you that. It's very tall around here. So you see Cohan bouncing off the fence there.
And as Cohen ran his lap, he came in 5th. He was 1,000th behind 4th, 2,000th behind 3rd, and 1,000th out of 6th. So
yeah, it's
really
close.
Playing with extremely low denomination. And the funny thing about the 1,000 thing, too, is that it could actually be lower than that. That's just a rounded digit.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, too.
So it can be a lot closer as well.
So with qualifying completing here at Talladega Superspeedway, it looks like Gabriel Perry is going to sit on the pole in that number 13 car. And again, he's another Fuel Finals driver in that purple, the purple text there. So it's a real good start for him, and he's probably going to want to keep himself up at front. Because really, if you're in front, the chance of you getting in a wreck are a lot lower than if you're midfield or in the rear. But if you're in the rear, you have a chance to brake and to miss a wreck.
Yeah, you can see there on the left side of the screen there, 5 of the 7 playoff drivers or finals drivers are in the top 10. Notably, who is not there is the 28 of Timothy Johnston, and let's see who else is not there. Wasn't able to get a look at it.
We'll get a look at it when we come around to the green flag, but as the field grid's up here, Finney, 94 laps, we talk about it not being a short race at all, but what about the cautions here, Finney? We know we're going to get at least a couple, but let's say you're coming down with 20 laps to go. Is it you're low on fuel? Do you take tires too? Is that even worth anything here at Talladega, or are you just going to run the same set all the way to the end?
I would take. It's kind of a tough decision. I would say probably don't take tires. If anything, I would say the best thing to do is take 2 tires, because with the amount of fuel you're going to put in, if you're putting in a full load, you might as well take 2. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So take right sides one time and left sides the other to kind of balance it out. But yeah, I would probably not go with the 4 tires, because you really don't need tires here.
You really don't need tires here. Well, that's you need tires, you just don't need new ones.
yeah, obviously. I think that's implied.
All right, 94 laps about to get underway here. Let's take a look at our starting lineup here tonight. We're not going to run through the whole thing, as there's 30 people in it, but the first couple rows here, fitting Gabriel Perry and Norman Pelletier, both in Toyota Camrys, starting on the front row. The 13 on the inside, the 56 on the outside.
Moving on back to row number 2. In third, we have Brian Bliss in the 17, and in fourth, outside him, will be Thomas George in the 9.
Thomas George looking to get himself up to victory lane, and we move back to 5th and 6th. That'll be Nick Cohan in the number 21, alongside Dean Doucette in the number 29. Cohan in a Camry, and Doucette in a Chevrolet Camaro.
Moving back to row number 4, we're going to have Greg Evans in the 2, Chevy Camaro, and in 8th, we have Travis McQuistion in the 93.
That was a struggle. Moving on back to row number 5. This is the last one we'll read out. Rhett McBride in the number 5 and Zach Buchanan in the number 40. The rest of the drivers will cycle along the bottom of your screen as we get ready to go pacing here at Talladega Superspeedway. 2.66 miles. They say it's it's built on an old Native American burial ground, and that kind of curses a lot of drivers here tonight, Finian. But let's say you're anybody but Greg Evans here, Finian. Is there anybody here that you think is safe to go for a win, and that really can't, mathematically they could be out, but can probably go hard for the win?
I would say probably the 28 of Timothy Johnson, and also the 21 of Cohan as their second and third in the points. They have a pretty decent gap towards the guys behind. Again, they still have a shot at being put back in a position of being eliminated. So I would say those are probably the guys that have the best shot, but you just cannot beat a 45-point lead from Greg Evans back to the 28 of Johnston. It's amazing how he has an entire race gap over second place. So it's impressive what that 2 has been able to do.
Yeah, he's been in victory lane 5 or 6 times this season, Finney. It's been quite a bit. And 6 times, and the most recent victory was the last time we were racing. So that number 2 car has been absolutely dominant. Am I wrong about that?
No, I was just gonna say list off his last. Let's see. Since Michigan, his finishes have been second, first, second, first. So to say he's consistent is an understatement.
Yeah, well, he's consistently good, and he's looking like Kevin Harvick out there right now. But this tonight, it's just going for the victory for him. He could crash out; doesn't matter to him. He's fine moving on to the next race. But Talladega again, kind of a crapshoot here. And as we get ready to go underway for 94 laps, Gabriel Perry in that number 13 Toyota Camry, starting alongside Norman Pelletier. Pelletier in the number 56. He's had a couple bad races this season, trying to get himself a victory before the season is over. And behind him, Brian Bliss in that number 17. I know he's just out here for a victory. He was ran real strong at Daytona. Haven't seen a lot of him since, and you can expect that Interstate Batteries Camaro to be up towards the front. Out of turn 4, the pace car is going to roll off, and we always like to mention here at Talladega, the start-finish line way past the tri-oval there, and that really sets itself up for exciting finishes. Look at the track temp, too, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's slick, but thankfully these cars can still just hold the throttle down to the floor. However, get on older tires, get in some dirty air, and a slight little tap could send you out of the race.
Yeah, a slight little tap and a little bit of excessive movement could really take you out of the race, but these guys aren't going to care about that now, at least for the next 80 laps or so. But here they come in the trial very slowly.
Waiting for the green flag. Gabriel Perry going to lead them down. Green flag in the air here at Talladega, and we're off and ready to go for 94 laps in the Unreal 250 for the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series, round number 14.
Here you see Perry got a fantastic start ahead of Pelletier. Pelletier's going to slide down. Looked like he was thinking about going back up, but he's going to slide in down on the inside.
And Pelletier took advantage of that and slipped right down to the inside lane. The 2 of Greg Evans also down there as well, pushing the 21 of Nick Cohan off of turn 2. The field pretty orderly as we make our way down for lap number 1.
And this is kind of, again, the stage of the race where you kind of just settle into a line, find the one you like, and hang in for the ride here. There's not really much of a point in trying to jostle for a position, other than really, especially for the playoff drivers, trying to get a bonus point for leading.
You can see already back behind this main group. They're already kind of getting themselves sorted out. Single file behind Tim Silliman, eliminated from the Fuel Finals a couple weeks ago. He's just out here to win, but looks like he's going to be taking it easy for the time being. But you know who's not right now is Thomas George, that number 9, Dean Doucette, and Travis McQuistion. Again, McQuistion on that bubble. He needs to get himself moving forward in the points in order to make it through tonight's race.
Yeah, and he's significant ways ahead of Rick Thompson, who he's fighting for to prevent being eliminated. Thompson back in 17th.
Off of turn 2, the field making their way. A lot of pushing and shoving on that inside lane. Kind of surprised to see that so early, but that they're trying to get moving. But look at Thomas George, a big run with the help of Dean Doucette and the number 29 car off into turn 3. That 9's going to pull alongside the 13 of Gabriel Perry. We'll see if he can make the pass out of turn 4.
I think he might. This lane's got a lot of momentum working with. There you see Greg Evans jump up to the top lane.
He jumped up there, but whoever was up there didn't want to let him in. That's the 22 of Andrew Cardinale. He did not want to let him in, but Cardinale will have to as he tucks back in behind the 2 of Greg Evans.
You can see the lines are pretty much even as far as the amount of cars on them.
Oh, crashing already. Gabriel Perry, Dean Doucette crashing on the apron. Can they hang on to it? They do. Already, that was a very scary moment off in turns 1 and 2, but they're going to hang on to it. They're going to lose a lot of spots, though. That 13 might have some right front damage.
Yeah, I'm not even driving in my art stop, so that was insane what just happened here. But both of them seem to be relatively unscathed. A little bit of damage to that 13, but shouldn't be anything to worry about.
That's not going to help, though. I mean, these cars are pretty aerosensitive around here, so it's certainly going to be a damper on the night. But let's take a look and see what happened. The 29 just pulls right down, almost like he forgot the 13 was there. And we'll ride on board with the 13 of Gabriel Perry and get his perspective of it. Yeah, 29 just pulled across the nose. And that's just situational awareness, and you just got to have that here at Talladega. We got a long way to go. Got to listen to that spotter.
Yeah, so unfortunately for both of their sakes, they're continuing on.
Yeah, I'm worried about their speed, though, Finian. Those fenders are pretty crinkled, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah, I'd love to check their speed right now, but apparently at some points they're going 86 miles an hour and 208.
Yeah,
so
gotta love the debounce.
But notably, what that incident has done, everyone's single file now.
Well, look who's up in second now. Travis McQuistion, the number 93. We mentioned how he needs to have a good night. He's doing it so far.
And notably, too, the 76 of Rick Thompson is now in 6th.
Okay, hold on a second. He started 17th.
Yeah, he was running 17th or around 17th before that happened. I'm kind of tempted to go back and see how he managed through that, because he gained about 10 spots.
He certainly flew up through the field. The 96 of Will Roberts jumping out of line there. Whoa, and Andrew Cardinale jumps up with them. The two Fusions on the outside lane trying to make headway, but that's going to allow Rick Thompson to pull up alongside Cardinale in the Unreal Esports number 22 and get right to the rear bumper of the 2-car.
Yeah, so as they run right now, I believe Thompson should be good to transfer on. Again, it's very close. It's only a matter of a few cars that are around them. So you can see now the two lines starting to form up, and everyone, the front group is starting to group back up again and start a fight.
There's Jackson Roblar, the number 98. Finning. It's been a while since we've seen him in a race here, and that Southwest Fusion trying to get himself back up inside the top 5, currently 8th. Thomas George continues to lead McQuistion in second, but Andrew Cardinale with a strong charge on the outside lane with help from Will Roberts in that number 96. That was very close, door-to-door, almost contact driving off into turn 1.
Yeah, that could have been very bad, but they're going to continue on. The two Fusions, actually 3-4 Fusions on the outside.
Robillard tucking in behind Will Roberts as they make their way onto the back straightaway. Look at the 93 coming up the racetrack to try to side draft, but the 9 goes up to block the 22's advance, and that's a great move by Thomas George to go up there and do that. That's hard to do, managing the lanes here within iRacing.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially because the a few changes to the draft model have been done recently to make drafting better, so it's even harder to try to maintain these lanes than before. But notably, too, the 29 and 13 have caught back up to this pack there. They're just at the tail end, so they're going to be still back in this race.
So the outside lane has kind of lost a little bit of their momentum after the 9 came up and blocked, so Thomas George did his job. Now does Greg Evans jump up there? He doesn't have to be conservative. Why not go for it here?
Yeah, indeed, why not go for it? I mean, you're safe. You pretty much have nothing to lose. And honestly, you could use this to try to make sure that some of the guys maybe that you want to compete against don't have a shot or have less of a shot at getting in. So it could be a little bit strategic there on his part.
Well, this second pack is getting pretty racy back here as well. And Brian Bliss, the number 17, started higher up the field and is now running 19th. So minus 16 spots for that 17. Looks like he's fallen back to find some help in the 0-1 of Justin Rodden. And Zach Buchanan's back here as well.
And notably, Timothy Johnson and Liam Sheen have both retired off the track 6 laps ago. Now 7.
I wonder if they just never took the green there, Finian.
I'm guessing, yeah. I'm guessing that
they don't have any times recorded at all, so that must be the case.
That must be the case. So, interesting there to see Johnson not make the start. I'm guessing he wasn't able to make the green flag. So
that's big. That's big.
That is big because he isn't completely clear. He's still away. He is in second, but he's going to lose that now. So he might have to be on his toes going into next week.
Heading back up to the front, Thomas George, McQuistion, and wow, look at the third 76 car, almost rooting the 2 car up out of the groove there, Finian. That's aggressive by the 76 Rick Thompson. He's not taken any prisoners so far, pushing his way forward.
Again, he's in a situation where he needs to make sure he gets a good finish and be up there with that 93. 93's in second, he's right behind in 4th, so again, right now he's making sure he's got a shot at moving on because it's very close between those two drivers.
There's the 5-car Rhett McBride. He was another quick one back at Daytona 13 weeks ago alongside the 2 of Greg Evans. Both these drivers have been phenomenal this season, but McBride, as of late, he's been being outperformed by that number 2 car, so certainly he wants to do this as just a show of dominance here to get by that 2 car, and there he goes, a great run. The inside lane gets a little bit bottled up there, and McBride pulls alongside Thomas George. Field works their way through turns 3 and 4, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. See Nick Cohan just kind of taking his time here in 16th at the rear of this pack. Just kind of riding and biding his time.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those situations where he's right now at the tail end and is pretty much out of the way of anything that were to happen in front of him. He's got no one behind him, so you're going to slam on the brakes, not worry about getting run over. So this is more of a strategic move. He's in the draft. He's well within. He's actually got someone behind him now. That's David Leclerc in the 50. Just helping, making sure that he's back in the draft, and he's kind of making sure he's all safe.
A second pack, Vinny, and they're still racing pretty hard back here. And also in this group is Tyler Dulger in the 88, who we mentioned his struggles in recent weeks. Crash at Watkins Glen, and I don't believe Richmond went very well for him either. So he's looking, and actually there was a little bit of an issue with him and Andrew Cardinale at Pocono a couple weeks ago. So obviously Dulger trying to get himself up back inside the top 10, running 23rd right now. Don Runkle Jr., Kevin Bartelt back here 24th, 25th.
Yeah, notably, the entire field's been split into 2 main packs, 1st through 16th and 17th through 27th. The only driver that's lost the draft is Evan Adams. He's currently in 28th and 16 seconds away from the lead.
Yeah, this is so easy to do here, Finney. No damage on that 59 car, but I think what happens here is you get out of the throttle for a second to avoid something, and that's all it takes. You can lose the draft really easily, especially if you're on the tail. So that's why I like what the 21 and Nick Cohen is doing. Is he's at the tail of this pack, but not completely at the tail, so he can still afford to drop back a little bit with help behind him. Thomas George has fallen to second with Rhett McBride in front of him and Travis McQuistion. So Rick Thompson sitting fifth and McQuistion in third. Those guys that were on the bubble are definitely taking initiative to get some points back here at Talladega. Evans is being attacked out of the exit of turn 2.
And notably, these guys are all swarming there, but the outside lane got notably broken up. So they're going to try to start finding momentum again. The 22 trying to work his way up. He's trying to side draft his way up some positions. He's got Dwayne Culberson behind him, but no one else behind that 81.
It's a lonely feeling out there for sure. And again, we're really just getting into the point of the race where you just want to settle yourself in. You're not really being aggressive at this point. You're just kind of riding and biding time. It's a long race. We still have an hour and 5 minutes of racing left. If it goes green all the way to the end, which is unlikely. So
honestly, I would say at this point it's looking pretty relatively likely. We've been split up by quite a bit, so into two relatively even packs. But yeah, I'd say.
And remember at Daytona, we went all the way to the end of that race.
Yeah.
Do we even have any cautions? We might have had one.
Might have had one towards the end, but yeah, mostly green to the end. So it really depends on the group of drivers. Almost had one caution here. But these guys seem to be, for the most part, biding their time. As I say that, these guys have gone side by side up for the lead ahead of McBride.
Wow, McQuistion is just on the move today. He is being extremely aggressive, pushing his way forward, and that number 93 is sitting in second right now, but McBride back to the inside. Now you have the 2 and the 5 lined up, and that's a dangerous combo.
And again, he has to be aggressive here. He's got to fight that 76 you see in frame there, so he needs to be at least 4 positions ahead.
Field crosses the line and completes lap number 13. And the 22 of Andrew Cardinale got Unreal Esports on the side of that car here tonight. They got, of course, racing the Unreal 250 in the outside lane. Had his help with Will Roberts a couple laps ago, but Roberts has fallen to 13th. And that number 22 is still sitting in the top 5.
As as the action started to ramp back up again, it's gotten sorted out.
Look at the tail of the 56. Got some damage on that car. I haven't seen where he collected that from.
It's kind of hard to tell. It might have come from
it could have been that
because he was running up the front of the field.
It could have been from the Perry incident as well.
That's what I was thinking. So,
but that's not insignificant. I mean, it's not hurting him any. But he jumps out of line there to avoid the 22 car and see if anybody goes with him.
Yeah, I think you should be fine. It's better to have your damage at the tail end of the car than at the front. So,
but especially the right front of these cars is so aero sensitive. You bounce off the wall one time, and at a restrictor plate race, your day is going to be pretty much over. David Leclerc, the number 50, is having a good day so far, and it hasn't exactly been a season to write home about for David. But here he is right now, running in 15th, keeping the nose clean on that Toyota Camry, trying to climb his way forward. And has the 67 of Brad Collins and the 81 of Dwayne Culberson in front of him.
Yeah, and again, I mean, anyone really in this pack, in this lead pack right at the moment as they run under green flag conditions has a chance at winning here. Not so much for the guys who are 17th on back.
Well, I talked about dangerous combos. Here's a dangerous combo lined up. Look at Thomas George, Rhett McBride, and Greg Evans. There's a power trio there.
Yeah.
Those 3 cars have been running phenomenally all season.
I was going to say, notably, too, 4 of our playoff drivers are in the top 6, so a lot of them have migrated towards the top part of the field, and Perry and Cohen being the conservative 2.
And Cohen, again, kind of just chilling where he is right now, back in 14th place, just kind of biding his time. He's got a teammate up there as well to help him out. And we're going to be 3 wide through turn 3 here. Andrew Cardinale all the way up at the top of the racetrack. I think he's just letting some guys by here. Finian doesn't like what he sees, maybe trying to line back up with his teammate.
Yeah, I would just say it could be, he's just dropping back. Had enough. I've done this a few times in some plate races where I've kind of had enough of being at the front and just kind of want to hang out in the back. And maybe later we'll see this 22 draft back up.
And Jackson Robillard trying to tuck in behind him. Looks like the teammates will find each other. The Ford teammates. And look who just come flying forward through all that chaos.
Wow, yeah.
Dwayne Culberson And the 67 of Collins and the 50 of Leclerc have charged forward. And Culberson's sitting in 4th right now.
Yeah, especially that 67 and 50. They were at the back of the pack a lap or two ago, and so they're now trying to find their way to the top. They want to have a shot at fighting for the lead here.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to take away the lead from these top 3 here. This is almost like a Stewart-Haas Racing-esque trio here. They're very, very fast. And 2 of the 3 have purple banners on. Of course, George eliminated a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, George, one of those drivers that really should have been in the playoffs, just hasn't been able to, as far as pacing is concerned, just hasn't been able to get the finishes in to secure him a spot, but he's going to hope for the best next season.
McBride pops out of line there to jump up to the outside lane, so that number 5 car will probably shoot to the front here with the momentum that outside lane is carrying. And into turn 3, the 5 can't quite clear the 9 of Thomas George, so they'll be side by side in turns 3 and 4. See the 81 get a little bit loose on corner exit.
So he's going to settle in behind the 5 of McBride, try to push him to the lead, and there's McBride. He's going to clear the 9, drop down low in front of him to secure it. And we'll see if McBride tries to do the strategy of maintaining both lines.
Remember, we're riding on board with the gyro cam on Calvin Filarski's car, and we talked about the visibility here, Finian. I mean, we're sitting at pretty much eye level here, but as we get closer to this 56 of Norman Pelletier, your vision completely goes away, and it gets impossibly difficult to see anything.
Yeah, it really is, and that's typically why you see a lot of the guys bobbing and weaving down the front and back straightaways. It's not because they don't know how to drive straight, it's because they're trying to make sure they can see what's going on ahead and see which lanes are moving, which lanes aren't, see who's moving where, and all that kind of stuff, and potentially see a wreck if it's up and coming.
Well, as quick as that outside lane charged forward, it began to lose momentum here, and the 81 of Culberson will drop back just a little bit. McQuistion pushes him up the racetrack. At number 93 again, showing he doesn't want anybody by him here today. He needs all the points he can get.
And notably, too, there's a little bit of a split in this top pack between 9th and 10th. Robolord leading smaller packs about half a second behind, so kind of wondering what those guys are up to. But here we got 4 on the top and 5 on the bottom here in this lead group.
Philip Clark, the number 99, has pulled it off the racetrack here, Finian. I don't think he has. I didn't see him get any damage. Oh, that's a terrible camera. Doesn't have any visible damage on that car. Tyler Dolger does, though. That car's destroyed.
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened to him. That was definitely recent.
Yeah,
let's see if we can
take a look. Ah, okay. So here's
this is, I think, probably why the pack split up.
Let's take a look. Oh, we're looking at the wrong group here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't realize that Dolger was there.
It was a little bit of a checkup, and we got to get a better look, maybe from up above. So the 40 of Buchanan's right on the rear bumper, and just a checkup there, and that's destroyed the nose of the 88 Finian.
Yeah.
Not on board with Dolger. This is what I talked about not being able to see. He was riding behind the 40, and look at the size of that rear bumper. We're up higher than the driver. We're on the roof. And all of a sudden, bam. And just that little hit was enough to destroy that nose.
Yeah, and so it's really unfortunate for the 88 of Dolger. He's going to pull into the pits. Pretty much going to be day over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For him, so... There you see the 59 of Adams. He's just about to go a lap down.
I'm not quite sure what's lacking in the speed for the 59 here tonight. He just lost the draft and was not able to get it back in any way, shape, or form. So hopefully, if the caution comes out, he can get that lap back. He is. Yeah. Oh, look at the. Is that the 56 of
it is.
Pelletier that just went top to bottom, and it looked unintentional, but he held onto it.
Yeah, I think some guys might have checked up a lot more than he would have thought, but at least, good news for Evans. At least he's the first car tags the wall of it.
Evan Adams just scraped the wall in turn 3.
Yeah, if he can just settle in behind these guys, right around with them, he'll be the first car a lap down, so he can use that to his advantage.
Already, I don't think he got in quite quick enough here, Finian.
Yeah, it's going to be close again. Would love to see the speed, but it's jumping all over the place. So
he didn't get in quite quick enough. You really need to be aggressive getting that, get yourself back in the line. Here comes Jackson Robillard in the 98. Where did he come from up to the front?
Yeah, and this was really out of nowhere, like you said, and there goes the 5 of McBride trying to block that momentum.
Onto the back straightaway now. The 5's going to have a great run.
Oh, and Cardinale steps out of line. He's going to try to make it 3 wide here as they head off into 3.
Maybe trying to steal somebody, but Robillard stays in that middle groove, and that's going to make Cardinale have to jump back down to that middle groove to pick up the draft once again. But the 5 of McBride pushed out to the lead. Can Robillard follow through and clear him?
Let's find out. There's McBride. He's going to dive back to the bottom. Does Culberson have enough of a draft to help the 98? I think he's a little bit too far back. Ooh, and a little bit of contact there between the 9 and the 98.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of room left there, but the 98 of Robillard cuts down on the 9's nose, and even the 81. That middle groove is beginning to pinch down the inside groove, and that's making it pretty sketchy. Oh, the 98 turns right on the straightaway, and everyone follows. You see the chain reaction effect as they all turn to follow each other down the straightaway.
And they're all dangerously slide drafting each other. Again, guys, we're only on lap 24 at 94.
So we got 70 to go when we get to the line. It's a long way to go just yet.
Yeah, but you can definitely see that Robillard is one of those guys, he just kind of wants to lead, just wants to win this race. Wow, almost turning the 9 of Thomas George.
Riding on board with Robillard now, and 98 not in the fuel finals here. Battling some people who are, so obviously the guys that are in it are going to be a little bit more aggressive blocking to keep their positions, but 98 really... Yeah, I mean, he's in his lane, but right here he turns in and he's straddling that line. There's not a whole lot of room for the guys underneath him. You see the 2 car pushing him up the racetrack there. Didn't appreciate it. Oh, wow. They're weaving so violently out of turn 2. I mean, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's just everyone kind of snaking, trying to follow each other. And that can be really dangerous. The guys get really close to each other from between the inside and outside lines, so they could potentially cause a wreck.
Riding board with Calvin Filarski again in the number 39, running 11th right now, watching all this unfold in front of him. And just behind them, 3 wide for 14th, Will Roberts trying to go around the outside. Oh, got a caution, got a huge wreck in turn. Oh, Greg Evans is in it. The 81's in it, and others piled up in turn number 1, and Gabriel Perry involved, as is the 56 and Norman Pelletier. Caution out, lap number 26.
That was very unfortunate there. Took a lot of good cars out.
Yeah, 13's got quite a bit of damage. Greg Evans, again, this is why... Wow, that car's done for sure.
Yeah, that car is definitely done.
Well, this is why he came in here. He could afford to race a little bit more aggressively. But the problem is some of these other guys couldn't afford to do that. So let's go back and take a look at what caused that. We'll see. Was it the 2? I think it started with the 2. Oh, the 2 and the 98 got together.
Yeah.
Cardinale got a piece of it as well. 29 barrel. Nick Cohan just got through it, as did... Who was that slipped through at the last second? Didn't see what number that was.
I'm going to have to take a look at that later. But yeah, I think the 98 of Robillard came down on the 2 of Evans going into the corner.
Yeah, I want to get another aerial view. This time we'll go chopper cam here and we'll see. The 2 kind of pulls up out of the groove here. Yeah, the 98 turns in was what happened.
Oh, and then Doucette gets a hard lick of that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Evans, sorry, Evan Adams was the one who weaved through that.
Well, I want to ride on board with the 59.
And he was actually kind of lucky that he lost a bit of the draft here. As he was able to weave through that.
You see that massive impact by the 2 car. Drives in here. Wow, expertly splits the middle there. Good job, Evan. Slides through, but I also want to take a look at Cardinale's view as well, the number 22 car.
Yeah, this happened right in front of him.
And he got a piece of it as well. Oh.
Oh, wow. Will Roberts almost got a piece of that on the inside.
Go through a couple more angles. How about the 39 of Filarski from the gyro cam? Backs out, turns down, and was able to just squeeze on through. And we'll ride on board with Will Roberts as well. Roberts is actually back here quite a little ways, so he had enough time to react.
Yeah, this is the group of guys that are almost 3 wide with each other.
Oh, man, that impact the 2 car took is huge.
Roberts
Wow.
almost got collected by the 81.
He jumped on the binders pretty quick there.
Great reaction time from the 96 is going to keep him going.
Again, the 2 and the 98. They were flirting with each other before. And just ran out of room here. See the 2 just get hooked right here. This is just a massive impact. Oh! That's day over for the 2. And Dean Doucette just pile drives the rear end of that car. And Gabriel Perry also damaged. We'll head back live, and pit stops have already completed. Brett McBride, the number 5, comes out in first. Travis McQuistion, Thomas George, Nick Cohan, David Leclerc, your top 5. Drivers that are out of the race here. Looks like Evans will be the first, well, Doucette as well. So Doucette, Evans, Robillard, Dulger, Philip Clark out of the race. Liam Sheen and Timothy Johnson never took the green. I want to get an update on the 13 car of Gabriel Perry.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems...
It looks fine now.
Yeah, again, it's kind of one of... It could be one of those server glitches where the car, it gets damaged, but then magically, visually it fixes itself, but I don't know if that's the actual amount of damage he has. Though I feel like he would have probably been on pit road trying to fix that if he did have more damage, so I would think he might be good.
We're going to try to take a moment and talk to our in-race reporter, Rick Thompson, and grab him here. And hey, Rick Thompson, it's Kyle from SimTV. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great up here, and we just saw the big one take out quite a few drivers on track there, but you managed to get through it. And right now you're running 19th in the number 76 car, but some damage on the nose. How are you going to manage that for the rest of the race?
Yeah, it happened pretty fast up there. I had a feeling something was about to happen, and I was trying to stay on the bottom as best as I could. And when it happened, I dove down real fast, trying to get out of the way. Hopefully, it doesn't affect us too much on the aero side. But I figured we'd go ahead and get as much of it fixed as we could, since we're under yellow and don't want to lose any time under green if possible.
All right, Rick. Well, we wish you the best of luck in finishing it off, and hopefully that damage doesn't slow you down too much. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys. Hope we're giving a good show so far.
Absolutely. See you later, Rick. All right, there's Rick Thompson. And so running 19th, some damage on the nose of that car, Finian, but lucky for him, I mean, Timothy Johnson in the number 28, him being out is going to help him significantly.
Yeah, I think I might actually do this at some point, or maybe now even try to just run some numbers here to see if Johnson might be the one to end up going home, because that was a big twist into this, because he is about 20... Okay, I think he should be 24 points ahead of McQuistion. So, depending where McQuistion ends up, it could be very close.
Yeah, McQuistion's really got to be inside the top 10, really, if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, so if Johnson finished 30th, he would have to finish...
6th or better?
Yeah, I would say 6th or better.
That's a tough that's a tough road for McQuistion.
Yeah, so Johnson might be good, but I don't know. It's going to be very close here. So we have 3 potentially at the moment as they run guys who are going to be going home. So kind of tough to tell here. So really, if where is he? 76 of Thompson. Yeah. So depending on how much damage he has, McQuistion and Johnston might be good.
And Cardinale, the number 22, also has some nose damage to that car. Not as severe as the 76, but certainly not going to help his straight line speed. So a lot of good cars taken out in that wreck, Finian, but hopefully that's our first and last big one. Of course, the big ones always take out more cars than you want to see. There's a guy we haven't talked about, Fred Thompson, in the number 46. That's a good-looking Ford Fusion he's got rolling, and right in front of Rick.
Yeah, has been very quiet tonight. Was in that second group of cars that got split early on, so he's now got a chance of being joined up with everyone else to race for the win here.
Yeah, that Speed Mafia car is looking pretty good. Skylight in barbecue on board that car. Really sweet. 1 to green here, Finian. Well, there's lots of purple on the ticker right now.
Yeah, there is. Can't really complain. It looks
no,
really
it looks good. Purple's my favorite color.
So we got 5 drivers. Sorry, 3 of our top 5 are in the playoffs at the moment. So that kind of shows where they ended up. Perry got moved back to 13th after that wreck, as well as the 76 of Thompson. He got moved back all the way now to 19th.
All right, so big shakeup here in the Fuel's final picture. And again, I said that completely backwards. Fuel Finals picture. And at the end of the race, we will confirm which driver was eliminated at the end. And we'll give you the 6 drivers that will compete next week. And we'll eliminate another one. We go to Gateway and then Las Vegas in a couple weeks to complete the Fuel Cup Series season, the inaugural season of the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series. And of course, sponsorship is available for next season. So if you have a company that you'd like to be on board with SimTV and the Fuel Cup Series, contact Will Roberts in the Fuel Discord or at fuelrl.com to talk about sponsorship opportunities. I believe the going rate is $20 a race is what he was charging for the sponsorship. So contact Will if you're interested in that. We work our way through turns 3 and 4, now heading to the restart. All right, well, McQuiston, we talked about it. He's got to finish 6th or better. Running 2nd right now, avoided the first big wreck. Do you think he can make it to the end?
I think he can. I mean, he's been doing some impressive moves up there. He's been in the top 5 nearly all day, or at least most of that run. So I think he's definitely got a shot of pulling that off and getting ahead of Johnston. Now, the question for Johnston really sitting wherever he is, I'm not sure if he, again, had something to do or not. He's, again, finished dead last, scored dead last in 30th. And Rick Thompson has to finish at a 10th, I believe, to get ahead of him. So that's kind of the way the picture's lining up between these guys. So at the moment, it's looking like Thompson's going to be the one going home.
At the moment, indeed. We got a long way to go, though, Finian. 64 laps to the end of this race. And they're coming to the start-finish line a long way away from the pit road entrance. But green flag flies again. McBride takes off and is going to clear the 93 and bring the 9 with him.
Yeah, very spread out start towards the front of the field. Everyone getting sorted. And I guess getting ready to do another long run here.
Everyone really getting themselves sorted out quickly. Single file. Very orderly restart.
Yeah, although that can change very quickly as some guys are going to build up a draft and build up a run here.
Zach Buchanan and the 6 of Tim Silliman working together in the outside lane back there. Silliman, again, eliminated a few weeks ago, had a horrible week at Pocono. Brakes locked up, driving off it in turn 1, had a vicious wreck there. But he tells me that he's okay, and we're rolling okay right now in P12 for that number 6 car.
Again, interested in seeing the 13 of Perry if he's able to make pace, and it looks like he is. He's just drafted by the 40 of Buchanan. Buchanan's going to fall in line behind him, so nice to see that 13 is still in contention.
I'm just amazed that car looks pretty severely damaged. He got a big piece of it, but whatever damage he had, he was able to fix and get that car moved forward. Bride leads. Thomas George in 2nd. McQuiston hanging on to 3rd. Nick Cohan right now in 4th place. And this is a guy that should have won about 5 races this year and came up a half a lap short way too many times, and maybe can finally break through here tonight at Talladega. He's had success in the IndyCar league that runs on Thursday nights. He's won a couple races over there, but has not managed to pull this Cup car into victory lane just yet.
Yeah, 8 top 10s and 5 top 5s for this driver. Again, seeking that win, that elusive win that has escaped him all season long.
What a good place to do it as well. Talladega towards the end of the season, and it would vault him into the next round of the Fuel Finals.
Yeah, but he's got some stiff competition between the 5, the 9, and the 93, so he's got to fight those 3 guys really if he wants to have a shot at winning. So here we see, there's Rick Thompson coming to frame there. So I think his car is really damaged now, so I think he's struggling to keep on the pace. And I'd say potentially in that same boat is the 22 of Cardinale, although I'm not sure if he's just stuck behind the 76 or not.
Here's Kevin Bartelt, the driver of the number 51 car, and recently won the Rigshare Loose Lips Award. He's been in contention a couple times and won it by an overwhelming margin last week. So curious to hear the radio chatter this week. And of course, Voice Chat Rewind will be a day late this week due to our schedules and how things are working out. So Voice Chat Rewind will be Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, but I expect Bartelt will probably be in the running again.
Yeah, it's unfortunately our professors hate us and decided to assign everything after Thanksgiving break.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the racetrack. Everyone's still single file towards the front of the field. And again, I think guys are starting to see, after that wreck happened, let's accept everyone except Pelletier. But everyone just getting sorted out, running on the inside, just tick off the laps until it's about 20 to go, and we might start seeing some guys make some moves. Or now, as a 67 and 50,
you gotta stop talking, Finian.
Jump to the outside.
They'll do exactly the opposite of what you say every time you say it, I guarantee. Say Nick Cohen's gonna lose. Please.
I don't think he wants me to do that.
Oh, man. 67 of Brad Collins. We haven't seen him competitive in quite some time, but here he comes to the outside again. Was a threat at Daytona back at the beginning of the season. We haven't seen a lot out of the 67, not since Phoenix. But where is he sitting in the points again?
22nd, so yeah, has kind of struggled. Missed a few races this season. Also, that's what put him as far back as it did. But hoping for some better luck here, and he's doing a fantastic job. Appeared kind of out of nowhere towards the front of the field, and is now doing the best he can with it, as he's trying to charge up to third place.
The 13 of Gabriel Perry just turned left underneath Will Roberts on the exit of turn 2 to get down to that inside lane right behind Calvin Filarski. So those Toyota teammates lined up with Cohan and McQuistion. Some good-looking race cars there following the two Chevrolets of McBride and George.
Yes, we got about... Yeah, we got we got exactly 13 cars in this lead pack here. Lower than what we had earlier, and then a second pack is formed. It's not really much of a pack, it's just a but three guys. That's Steve Gottschalk, Kevin Bartelt, and Don Runkle Jr. They're there behind by about 4 seconds or so from the lead pack.
Look at that paint. That is a gorgeous paint scheme on that number 18.
Yeah, it really is. So
wow.
These guys are trying to work their way up towards the front.
And behind them, Fred and Rick Thompson, as well as Andrew Cardinale, John Martin, and Evan Adams all running together.
Yeah, so it looks like, I guess the 76 of Thompson's good. At least when he's tucked up behind someone. Can't I imagine in open air, his car will be pretty much screwed on pace. So behind someone, he seems to be fine. So he's going to try to, I guess those guys are going to start forming up and trying to make a run to the front, but they're really starting to lose time.
All right, in terms of how many cars are out, we started with 30. 2 of them never took the green flag, but we're, let's see, it looks like we're down 7, if I can count correctly.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cars out of the race here. Last one running is 21st place Evan Adams in the number 59. And all 21 of the cars still running are on the lead lap here on that number 37.
And you can see now the lead pack starting to double file up, and we're going to go racing at least for a little bit here with these guys.
Out of turn 4, the 50, a little bit loose on the outside. That's David Leclerc trying to push Brad Collins to the lead. He's got help from the 96 of Will Roberts from behind. And this is getting a little bit dicey up here now.
Yeah, especially on that outside lane. A lot of guys going on. You see Buchanan now almost got into Will Roberts, backed off in the middle. And Roberts is going to go up high and try to get out of that. But notably, who dropped out a lot?
Justin Rodden.
Yeah.
I think he slammed on the brake expecting a crash, and I don't blame him. It was a pretty hairy moment there for a second.
Yeah, so I think Rodden might lose the draft here, and maybe even Silman as well.
They do have another pack they can fall to behind, but if you're those second packs, you're not going to want to give up your momentum.
Yeah.
You'll blow right by them.
I think Silman has indeed starting to slip back from this pack, so now we're down to 11 cars in this lead pack, unless someone wants to go out and get them, but I don't think a lot of these guys want to risk that.
Calvin Filarski slides up. Thomas George has dropped a couple spots. He's now sitting back in 6th. This is the lowest we've seen him for most of the race now. He's been up front dominating for the majority of it, other than Rhett McBride. But Travis McQuistion slides back up into 2nd, doing everything he needs to do here tonight.
Yeah, I'm really impressed from McQuistion. I haven't seen too much out of him this season. I've seen some shines of greatness from the 93, but this is one of his best performances here. He's been in the top 3 nearly all day in 2nd. Hasn't been out in the lead yet, and I'm sure he wants to shortly. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think I just saw Cohen move out of line, and he did. He's going to move to the top side. Interesting move here from that 21.
Not quite sure why he chose the outside lane, but maybe just to drop out of this a little bit. Looks like he's bailing. Or maybe to try to get back with his teammate in the 56 and Norman Pelletier. Let's see if they'll line themselves back up on the inside lane. But he's got the 9 pushing him, and the 56 has the 40 of Buchanan all over the rear bumper. So, oh wow, it looks like the 9's going to deny the 21 and move backward, and will push him back forward again. So he'll have a run out of turn 2.
And 39 of Filarski and 13 of Perrin was got together. That could have been really bad, but these guys are going to keep on going. And there you see now Cohen's going to move to the front. Does the 93 of McQuistion jump out of line to join Cohen, though? And it looks like he might be happy staying here. We'll see again as they come out of 4, because I think Cohen's going to be side by side with the 93 as they come out.
Filarski almost went up the racetrack there just a little bit, but held his line. And we got Chevy and 4 Toyotas along the inside lane, followed by a Chevy and a Ford. To the outside, it's a Chevy, or excuse me, a Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Toyota. So kind of not a whole lot of manufacturer help going out in that outside lane, but the inside does have those 4 Toyotas lined up. And how much does that weigh into your race here, Finney? And how much does the manufacturer bear any meaning here? Does it bear anything? Some of these guys are teammates, some of them are not. It comes down to you got a Chevy and a Toyota lined up, and you're driving a Camaro. Which line do you go with?
I was gonna win me the race. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's less manufacturer loyalty and more of who your teammates are and just friends in general who may be driving different cars as well. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, and also these cars are pretty much the same. They're not pretty much the same; they are the same car, pretty much just in different bodies.
Ooh, Cohan got a little bit loose there off the bumper of the 9 of Thomas George. Working our way towards halfway here, Finney. We're getting close now. We're 15 laps into this stint. So potentially beginning to think about your strategy for the end of the race. You're taking a look around, trying to see who's left, who's got competitive cars. But as got a battle for the lead, does McQuistion turn left on exit? No, he stays in behind the 5. Got a battle for the lead down the back straightaway, side by side.
Yeah, the 9's got a huge head of steam. He's going to push Cohan to the lead here.
And the 13 has jumped up to the outside lane, so that'll split up a couple more Toyotas. But the 21, Nick Cohan to the lead, drops in front of the 5 car, and Nick Cohan out in front here at Talladega.
Now, question, does the 13 and the 9 have enough stuff to get them up there? And they see Buchanan and Roberts back. Actually, Roberts dives back below. But you see these guys now on the top side of the lanes. Again, pretty even here. 5 up top, 6 on the bottom.
13 car drops out of line. We're going to go middle 3 wide goes Gabriel Perry.
Ooh,
That's a tight fit.
Yeah, that was. McQuistion came up a little bit. Trying to side draft Perry. Almost squeezed him in the middle 3 wide. But yeah, George, interesting. I saw him pull out. Kind of curious as to why, but he's going to, I guess, maybe he's trying to fall back to the back of this pack. I'm not sure. But Perry's going to jump in front, try to lead these guys, but they're losing momentum.
And a big push from Rhett McBride to the rear bumper of Nick Cohan. You can see the grill opening there on the just below the ZL1 badge there, and when you're tucked up behind these cars, Finney, and you don't get a lot of air, and it really starves these engines of cooling air, and it makes these very tricky to drive nose to tail like this lap after lap.
Yeah, definitely. That's another thing these guys got to worry about is overheating, especially if you're pushing someone. You really want to keep an eye on those engine temps, watch the gauges in case they're flashing, or I guess not gauges anymore, the numbers if they're flashing in these cars. So, and make sure your engine's nice and cool. Otherwise, it can cause you severe problems if you're caught in behind someone and your engine's overheating.
4 of our top, well, I was about to say 4 of our top 5. 4 of our top 6 now are Fuel Finals drivers, and that just shows you the cream of the crop rises to the top. Wow, the 13! Whoa, that was a very scary moment there for a moment.
Yeah, he was on the outside lane. I'm guessing he was trying to clear himself down low, and he did just that, but gave the 5 guys behind him a heart attack.
There's a look on board from Calvin Filarski. And it looks like Filarski breathed the throttle there for a minute, so he was expecting this, but wow, the 13 slammed the door.
That looked a lot more dramatic from our point of view. We see teammates working together.
Cohan, McBride, McQuistion, Collins, George, your top 5 here. Then Gabriel, Perry, Filarski, Pelletier, Leclerc, and Roberts, the rest of your top 10. And you have to drop there's Buchanan there, but you got to drop about 10 seconds back to find that second pack of cars. Gottschalk leading. And they're just kind of snaking their way down the back straightaway. They're fighting amongst themselves here, Finian.
Yeah, and this is not what any of them really want, although none of them are playoff drivers, so they're kind of just settling in here. But yeah, they would be hoping to catch the leaders, but they've been losing them by about 0.2 a lap.
Smoke in the air here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've noticed that before. I don't know who on earth that is, but they're...
that would be... Oh, man.
I can't even see the driver. That's so
much Clark
smoke.
In the number 99.
Jesus.
Billowing. We got to get the fire extinguishers down there.
Man, any more smoke, and they'll have to eject them from the track. Smoke screen turn 1.
Sure, it's making the windshields not very clean on these guys after they drive through it every lap. But nose to tail, really the top 10... Well, top 11, really. Actually, Buchanan's beginning to lose the draft here, Finney, and he's in danger if he doesn't get back up here. Oh, looks like Will Roberts checked up. He'll be able to run back up to the rear bumper.
Yeah, that was really fortunate. Again, it's very dangerous being that tail-end driver. You can lose the lead pack very easily on the draft.
Fought back up, but again, he's got no one behind him, so it doesn't help his case, but he's going to drop to the outside lane now. That's an interesting move, but Gabriel Perry comes out of line and trying to use that run to get around the outside of the 9 of Thomas George, but no one to help him.
I was going to say, Filarski looks like he might.
There he goes.
There he goes, and it looks like Pelletier is going to follow in behind. The Toyotas working together on the outside.
I told you they work together.
I believe they are teammates.
They are.
Okay. Oh, and someone else in front of them has jumped up there. And that's
Brad Collins!
67.
Oh, that was a terrifying moment.
And McQuistion's also jumped up there, so now Perry's going to try to push McQuistion.
No,
he's going to leave him
inside.
He's going to leave him. Filarski's going to end up pushing the 93.
Chaotic moments here at Talladega. Filarski jumps up in front of Brad Collins, but a heart attack for all us up here in the booth, and I think some drivers will be switching their pants out after this. So let's go take a look and watch it happen. Watch from above to get the best sense of everything. So the 13 gives a 67 a push. And it was a very tight hole to squeeze through, but managed to get there. And then 13 drops just underneath the 93. That could have been big.
Yeah, I don't think good timing from a lot of those drivers. And as the ticker, it's gone to lap 48. We are halfway through this race.
And look at McQuistion coming in here. All he has to do is finish 6th or better, but battling for the lead now with help from the 39 of Calvin Filarski.
Yeah, getting that bonus point will help a lot. It would have to be 7th or better. Although again, I'm pretty sure he's in the good right now. It's Rick Thompson who's got to start worrying as he's back in 18th.
Smoke fills the air from the 99 on pit road, but the rest of the field continues to lap around here. The top 11 in the first pack.
Going to be close, and I think, yep, he's going to lead that lap. So 1 bonus point to the 93, and I'm sure he's going to be happy with that. So again, McQuistion now doing everything he needs to do. That's 1 more point towards Thompson. And again, Rick Thompson struggling with a damaged car back in 18th. You see a bunch of these guys swerving.
Filarski was really loose. Look, drops to the bottom. Filarski to the outside with help from Brad Collins. Nick Cohan drops back a little bit farther as well. Maybe some more coordination up here between the Toyotas.
And I think Cohen's backing off, so Filarski can take the lead here. Nice teammates working together here. So McQuistion's not going to have much help from the 21, and there's the 39. He's going to be clear. Does he jump down low? There's the move.
Yep, and excellently played by the Toyota teammates. And Brad Collins now up to 2nd. Can he go for the lead with help from Will Roberts?
The Fords now working together, trying to get to the front of the field.
He's got a nose ahead here, but it's going to take a little bit more than that to clear him. There comes Zach Buchanan in 5th. Highest he's run here today.
And again, yeah, Buchanan very in danger of losing the pack. Was able to stay up there with these guys. He's going to jump in line and move to 3rd on the inside line. He's going to be 5th overall. And those 2 guys, I think, on the outside are going to start dropping back.
There's sort of a lapper whizzed by my ears here, so I think up the road we have a little bit of lap traffic.
That might be Evan Adams.
Yes, it is.
That is Evan Adams.
Working lap 50 here, completing lap 50, and Calvin Filarski now leads. Filarski started back in 18th, so a long run forward for that number 39.
Yeah, and some good luck to this 39 car. He's kind of struggled, had some unfortunate luck in some races. Hasn't been able to get some good finishes, but here he is leading now. Just over halfway through this race.
Yeah, he absolutely had some rotten luck the first half of the season. Has been turning it around a little bit in recent weeks, but now climbing up to the front here at Dega. The teammates behind him. That's a comforting feeling. Well, the guys that dominated this race, Rhett McBride and the 2 of Greg Evans. Evans is out with a crash, and Rhett McBride has fallen back to 6th. Backing up to the 13 of Gabriel Perry. Here you see Evan Adams going another lap down. He's now 2 down.
And part of me feels this is some guys just again backing off, kind of getting some air to the engine, just letting them breathe, and also letting themselves take a nice breath while they don't have to be stuck in this action, as we got a long way to go through this race.
An update on the Thompsons and Johnny Martin, running 18th through 20th. Just kind of riding around here, but jump back up to the second pack, and there's the 18 of Steve Gottschalk leading in the Nerf number 18 Toyota Camry. Kevin Bartelt in the number 51, and Tim Silliman also has some damage on the 6 car on the rear.
And these guys have just been not able to find any speed. I honestly don't know why they're not having any speed here, but they're about still about 2/10 off of the leader's pace.
They certainly will need a caution to get themselves back in contention here, Finian. They're about 11 seconds back and losing every lap, so they're going to need to do something a lot better than what they're doing. Everyone's kind of sorted out here, just clicking off laps. Buchanan is settled into third, Will Roberts in fourth. Best running position of those two cars today. Some damage to the rear of the number 40. See the smoke cloud from the 99 in pit lane.
Easy way out. So Will Roberts looks like he's happy in fourth and happy for the long run here, as is everyone else. No one seemed to be attempting to make a move. I was waiting for someone to dive out of line as I said that for the third time, but yeah, looks like everyone's just kind of settling in, and this is kind of one of those places where you're going to think, we're just now coming to 40 to go.
Yep. Next time by will be 40 to go.
So you can, I believe you should be able to make it on a full tank.
Well, we're 27 laps into the stint, so I'd definitely estimate stops in the next 10 laps.
Yeah.
So that might be what they're trying to sort out right now, Finney, especially those Toyota teammates. They've been working so well together. You got to come down pit lane with your teammates or with at least other cars at the bare minimum to be competitive when you come back out.
So the pit window is, for the most part, open this time by, but again, I doubt anyone's going to take it explicitly here, as it could be a little bit close, so I think you're going to see these guys run at least 5 more laps before we start seeing pit stops.
Yeah, I think 5 to 10 laps is probably your pit window here. Filarski and McQuistion and the Team Toyota cars running 1 and 2. Zach Buchanan in the Camaro third. Will Roberts in the Fusion in fourth, and Cohan in another Toyota running fifth right now. And you see, there is the lead pack here, Finian.
And there you can see coming onto the back straightaway is the second pack. So they're, again, a lot of ways back, and they're fighting for position still, which is really not helping their pace.
No, it's a long ways back now. 11 seconds. And then there's the third pack here in 1 and 2. They're going to go a lap down here, not too much longer.
Yeah, they're 27, 28 seconds behind the leaders, so they're just over half a lap behind now.
All right, pit stops here, Finian. So you got to take a full tank of fuel. So do you take tires or just take 2 just to make sure you're not waiting on them?
I would take 2 at this point. Again, the tires aren't going to matter. Just throw on some right side. That your left sides really shouldn't be worn out. If anything, it would be the rights. Yeah, just take some right tires and you should be good to go. Because again, you don't have to fuel it up all the way, and it also helps you to make sure that just in case you make a mistake, overshoot your pit stall, you're not waiting on your tires. Yeah, everyone in the field pretty much quiet at this point as we're anticipating pit stops within the next 5 or so laps. And everyone kind of getting sorted out just to make sure that as soon as some guys start calling it on the back stretch that they're going to come down pit road, you're going to see a lot of guys make that decision to come down.
Really shaken up from the beginning of the race, Finney, and a lot of the guys that were running well have now kind of slipped back a little bit, and we've replaced them with guys that were running inside the top 10, but not quite up towards the front.
Yeah, we lost good drivers like the 98 of Jackson Rovalar, the 2 Greg Evans. Even the 29 of Doucette was doing well.
Doucette was having a great race till he got caught up in that wreck.
Yeah, so those guys are taken out. Rick Thompson was one of those guys running towards the front of the field. He got damaged, set him back. And even Andrew Cardinale in the 22 got some damage to his nose. He's riding around in 14th in that second pack. Hasn't been able to improve from that.
And probably unlikely to with the damage he has to his nose. Significant enough to cause a definite speed disadvantage as soon as he pops out of the draft. Working lap 58 of 94 here at Talladega. You're watching live on SimTV. The Unreal 250. It's over halfway complete. Working our way towards the final pit stop of the race. We've had 1 caution so far.
Yeah, very clean race from these guys, all things considered.
These guys are really good at plate racing. We've seen that Daytona as well. They can certainly handle plate tracks in phenomenal style. And the quality of the racing has come a very long way from the beginning of the season, I must say that.
Yeah, definitely these guys have kicked into high gear. Especially the guys fighting for the playoffs, doing the best that they can, making their best performances. See Buchanan have a little bit of a blink in one of the worst places to have a blinking problem, but it should be fun. It's definitely better than it has been throughout the season.
Yeah, well, Nick Cohan here running 5th, started 5th, so he's pretty much maintaining status quo right now in that number 21 car. And just kind of sitting, waiting, biding his time. I'm a little bit surprised that he wasn't a little bit more aggressive when he let the 39 of Filarski by, that he wasn't up there with him. Dropped back, and now he has a couple cars separating him and his teammates. The 35 laps to go at the line. And we're 32 laps into the stint here, Finian, so I'd say the pit window is definitely open. And now we just wait to see he comes down. There's really no such thing as an undercut here. It doesn't, The tires won't really do you a whole lot of good. So it's really just a matter of planning it with your teammates and not coming all at once. I think that's the worst thing that could happen is the overly congested pit road entry makes people make mistakes and crash. And pit road entrance at a super speedway is not easy. If you take a look at the brakes, that's not what I wanted to do. I have to go to a...
I don't think... No, you have the cameras.
I do, but not on that car. There we go. The brake kits here are not very large. And so the problem is you come down to pit lane, we have not used these brakes the whole race. Just slowing down for the pace car. So they're not warmed up, they're not ready to go braking. And as soon as you get into... There's not a whole lot of action going on here in general. So as soon as you go to those brakes, it's the first time they've been used in 30 laps. They're going to be cold, and they're going to lock up, and they're going to send you for a spin if you're not careful.
Yeah, and even to... on with that point as well as coming into your pit box as well. A lot of drivers, myself included, have made the mistake of underestimating how much brake you need to use to get into your pit stall. Because on most tracks, you have enough brakes to go in a decent amount, but sometimes if you haven't practiced it at all, you're going to end up overshooting your stall, and that can really take you out of this as you can lose the drive.
Oh, no, absolutely, 100% take you out of this. And it's so hard because even if you're coming in slow, the pit road speed here is still 70 miles an hour or thereabouts. So you come in here pretty darn fast. And the pit road here is so wide, it throws off your whole perception of speed. And I think pit road here is one of the trickiest parts. As we see, the second pack has actually come down, and they're on pit road making their stops. And again, it wasn't extremely coordinated here, so I don't expect this to be very beneficial to them.
And there comes the leader, so they're going to be put a lap down as they come out of pit road.
That pack with Johnny Martin, Rick and Fred Thompson are now well over a half a lap down. Again, really, anybody that's not in the lead pack needs the yellow to get themselves closed back up. But they don't want it right now. And there's Don Runkle Jr. coming out of the pits way far back. That's going to be a horrific pit sequence for him. And he's going to lose the draft here as well. Has some rear end damage to that 00. Make things worse.
So that's everything not looking in the way of the 00. But as we saw those last guys come down pit road, now again, question: where are we going to see these guys? Because they can come in. Actually, they're slowly running out of fuel, so I would imagine within the next 5 laps they're gonna have to come down pit road.
Well, Filarski has led the last dozen or so laps in that number 39 car. He's been out front for quite a while now with McQuistion there. Again, McQuistion has to finish 7th or better. You see the cars weaving in the back there. McQuistion has to finish 7th or better, so he needs to nail this pit stop.
Yeah, and definitely for Thompson's sake, he wouldn't want the 93 McQuistion to finish better. Although, again, looking at it, I think McQuistion should be good if Rick Thompson were to finish where he is currently.
Field again decides to stay out. We're on lap number 37 of this stint, so easily good enough to make it to the end of the race. It's just a strategy call from here on out. Maybe just run these cars out of fuel, then come down. There's no other reason to not do that. And the other advantage of coming down later, you see Runkle Jr. popping out of the pits again. Come later, you can take less fuel, and that means a shorter pit stop.
Yeah. So, and then also as well, if a caution were to come out, you don't get screwed out of the pit cycle. So that's another reason. You see Bartel with a huge amount of
ton of nose damage.
So I'm kind of
Well, I think I can guess where that came from.
Yeah, Runkle. Yeah.
Well, and I think that this might have happened on the pit sequence here, Finian.
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet.
That 51 car is destroyed.
And I would say the puzzle pieces fit.
Yep. Oh, we got the field coming down here, Finian.
And doesn't seem like all of them.
No, it's going to leave Perry and...
you see Will Roberts.
96 of Will Roberts. The 50 car. Leclerc comes flying into pit road and crashes his car, but minimal damage to the 50.
That's unfortunate for him, as he was having a fantastic day, and that's going to mess him up all sorts of ways.
Well, we talked about getting a flawless pit stop, and for the 96 and the 50, it was not that. Rhett McBride, Thomas George, Gabriel Perry still out on the racetrack, still rolling their way around. But, Perry missed his pit box, Finian.
And so, and Pelletier missed it completely. He's trying to back up into it, do all sorts of things. And
McQuistion got a great stop in that number 93.
So Pelletier's going to lose the field. There's Perry's going to come out. He's going to be able to just stick with them.
Pelletier going to lose a ton of ground.
So we lost 2 cars on that pit sequence, Pelletier and the 50 of Leclerc.
Here comes Rhett McBride, Thomas George. They're down as well.
Yeah, now all eyes on the 93. McCushion got the best stop out of that group, so he's going to be leading.
A 12.7. That's a really fast pit stop. Norman Pelletier's stop was a 12.2, except for the fact that he slid through it and wasted 10 seconds.
Yeah, and also notably, a fast stop was the 67 of Brad Collins. He also had a 12.7 pit stop.
Wow. Some quick stops on this sequence. All right, well, we got 3 Toyotas leading this field here, Finian. Expertly played by this group of guys.
Yeah, definitely. And they're going to try to get away from everyone else. So you see the 67 finding the 40, the 96 finding the 13 of Perry, and there you see the 5 and the 9 coming out. So they're going to group up together. So now it's pretty much a tandem race here.
Yeah, well...
Although I don't think there's going to be much competition between these guys here.
No, they're going to be pretty far behind here, Finney. And also, this other group that's coming is already teamed up, and they're going to have... They have 3 cars. This group only has 2, so they're going to try to accelerate as quick as they can, but I think they're going to get blown by here on corner exit.
Yeah, they're going to have to really... George's got to do his best pushing ability, but you're going to see here just the amount of pace, so they're going to blow on by. They might be, George and the 5 might be able to slot into the second group in line, and I think they will, so they're going to have to push their might all the way up to the pack, but I think actually the 40 and the 67, they can potentially get grouped up and make a 4-car run.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to need to do. This front group of 3 is making some really good time right now, so the more cars you have, the stronger your line will be, but the front group of Toyotas right now, Finian, blasting ahead, lapping Johnny Martin in the number 12. See that group beginning to get closer and form up.
So these guys are definitely going to form a nice group of 4 here, chase down the leaders, and that'll be their goal for now the next 27 laps.
All lined up, ready to go. Now we'll have to watch that gap between the leaders right now. Rhett McBride is 2.8 seconds behind the leader. Can they close that gap? They have enough time to get there.
Yeah, they have enough time. Again, it's a matter of do they have the pace to really get themselves there, and on paper they should. 4 cars in a pack should be stronger than 3.
On board with Calvin Flarsky, breathe the throttle there for a minute. And these guys, all they have to do is keep doing what they're doing because they're making good time. They've actually gained a 1/10 of a second on that second group. So keep pushing, guys. This is they've lined themselves up, working together. And we're almost done with this race. If they can just finish off how it is, this would be a great victory for them.
And I'm sure they're going to do their best to stick in line there. You see the 76 of Rick Thompson. He's just fallen a lap down, kind of sealing his fate. And again, just hoping for more here as he's looking further and further at getting more and more at getting eliminated here from the playoffs.
Well, that time by, McBride, George, Buchanan, and Collins took a couple tenths out, so a little bit, I don't think this is over just yet here, Finian. That second group making a lot of time.
Yeah, so we'll see this time by as these guys have finally been grouped up.
2 tenths quicker.
Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. These guys should be faster, and they are. Again, it's more of a matter of do they have enough time, and that question's kind of answered that they do.
And how much momentum do they gather coming up to the front group here? If they can get a couple miles an hour on them, they'll just blow right by them like they're standing still. And it's going to take them a couple laps to get there. They might get there by lap 80, 85, but that's go time. That front 3's going to be pushing really hard, and you're going to have to make their way around it. 2.1 seconds separate McBride and McCushion in the lead. There's Perry and Roberts. Again, Roberts, a little bit of a mistake on pit road, and for Norm Pelletier, a disastrous pit stop sequence, as well as for David Leclerc. Had a great race going in that number 50, but taken out of it late by spinning on the pit road entrance.
Yeah, so unfortunately for a lot of drivers, now we only are down to 7 drivers pretty much in our lead pack, if you can call it that. A little bit disjointed, but they should be a pack within about 10 to 15 laps.
See if we can see from high above there. There's the front 3, and then the 4 kind of flying in a flying V formation there. You see how spread out this field is here, Finney. Nakasha would certainly get them bunched back up and create some chaos, but we're 25 laps to go now. It's go time.
Yeah, you can see this is looking a lot like races in the 70s at Super Speedways when these guys didn't have restrictor plates on. You see a little bit of fighting
This
here.
is a mistake, Finian. This is a mistake to fight for it here, and I think they're going to bail on that idea. They look like they were going to fight for a moment, but they're going to get tucked back in. That second group is coming quickly.
Yeah, I think they part of the reason I think they figured that they were going to catch them anyway, and I think the 39-21 wanted to be ahead of McQuistion by the time they caught them. So, again, probably thought better of it.
I mean, they're going to get caught regardless, but running side by side isn't going to help your cause. You see them kind of dog each other on the back straightaway. Not quite sure why they would be doing that, because it's only going to accelerate the chase from behind. But McBride coming with a huge head of steam.
Yeah, these guys are catching by about 0.2 a lap as they're running.
And there's Tim Silliman about to go a lap down. That number 6, just not Tim's day. Never really had the speed, had a little bit of rear end damage, that number 6, so that Rigshare Ford Fusion, not a great day.
Yeah, definitely hoping for better, as it's his first half of the season has gone pretty well, but then yeah, the second half not so much for that 6 team, and again, hoping one of those drivers hoping for the best going into next season.
Travis McQuistion leading again. He has finished 7th or better to make sure that he's in. And right now he's doing everything he needs to do. But I can tell you, the 2 guys behind him are hungry, and probably hungrier than he is for a win here. Nick Cohan, of course, had a win slip from his fingers in the last couple laps of so many races this year. Filarski's had absolutely rotten luck, but has had the speed. And behind them, McBride and George are coming.
Yeah, they definitely are. And honestly, really looking at the way these guys are running now, so the question could potentially, if you wanted to, just stay out of the fighting completely and move back to this pack, and he would be in 7th. So that would put him about tied with Johnson going into the next round. So that's all he would really need to do, but I think he definitely wants that 7-point gap to Johnson.
Yeah, I don't think you want to chance it. I think he's going to want to finish as far forward as he can. I don't think he can afford to give up any spots here, because we know how points can be pretty unpredictable, especially if we get a late race restart of any kind. Gap between McBride and McQuistion is now 1.2 seconds. So they've pretty much caught up, and they'll be in the draft here in just a second. Next time by will be 20 laps to go. Will it be the Toyotas or will it be the Chevrolets?
Plus one Ford.
It's a trio of Toyotas versus a trio of Chevys and a single Ford. As we come down 20 laps to go, McQuistion, Filarski, Cohan, McBride, George, Buchanan, Collins, your top 7 in the main pack.
You can see these guys now, how far they've come now to catch these guys, and done a fantastic job of getting hooked up and bolting towards the leaders.
Yeah, they're there now, Finney. They're going to be in the draft here by the end of this straightaway, and that means Rhett McBride and Thomas George can use their drafting skills and blow right by these guys if they time it just right, but I can guarantee you Cohan and Filarski are going to make it very difficult to get around.
Yeah, again, it's going to be very hard. They're going to have to judge it as they go, as they're now really closing in. As they pretty much caught the draft, so now the speed's gonna increase for them, and yeah, again, it's just a matter of where's the 21 gonna go, where's the 39 gonna go, and even the 93 once they catch, because I can imagine, like you're saying, they're gonna just go all sorts of lines and all sorts of ways defensive, as they do not want to give up this lead coming into 19 laps to go.
They're here, and they separate. McQuistion to the bottom, Filarski to the top, and this is a great move, I think, Finian, to block the runs from the Camaros chasing him. So they really didn't give him a whole lot of a choice, but McBride's going to have to settle in right behind the 93, and Filarski goes to the lead.
Yeah, you can see that no one's helping out these guys, so I think they're going to get put back, and I think they were expecting at least someone to jump up with them, but no help's going to come of it, so I think the 39 and 21 are probably going to fall to the back of this pack.
Well, the 39 isn't in the finals here. Cohan's probably safe. And the 93 is really the team's priority here, Finian. So I think they're going to, when push comes to shove, they're willing to sacrifice their own race for that number 93, and they let him block the 5 car. And they kept those Chevys boxed in. They can't do anything from that position, Finian. So it's excellent teamwork by the Toyota teammates. The only way the Camaros can go anywhere is by making a 3rd lane, and that's going to be very tricky to do with this few cars in a pack.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much, again, if it goes green all the way, going to come down to one of these 7 drivers. at the end of it. So not many people to work with, and like you're saying, not that many cars here. So you can't. It gets harder to get some lines going, as you don't really have much momentum.
Kolarski knows is ahead, but the 5 and the 9 are still trapped in behind Nick Cohan. So not really anything they can do. Zach Buchanan just kind of waiting in the wings, as is Brad Collins. Do you think those guys might mount a charge here? They've been pretty quiet so far.
I think it's probably just something that's waiting. And we've seen the 67 do a great job of moving up through the field. So we'll potentially see what he's up to, and maybe if him and Buchanan are plotting something, who knows. Collins knows how filthy that car is.
Huh.
All the rubber sticking to it.
$17 to go, coming to 16. We gotta watch the bumper there. That's a little bit of a dangerous position to get yourself into on that left rear quarter panel. You don't want to give that any pushes at all. We mentioned how hot the track was today. A little bit of a slip will cause a big crash here. And a caution would completely change everything. That'll bring Gabriel Perry, Will Roberts, Pelletier, Cardinale, all those guys back into this if the caution were to fly. 16 to go.
And there's Buchanan now jumping up to the top side, followed by the 67 of Collins. So I wonder now these guys have had enough of waiting around. They're going to start mounting up charge again. They could still wait a few laps, but they're going to try to start seeing, maybe testing out the waters here, trying to see which of these lines is better.
Well, I'm surprised at how well the 39 and the 21 are hanging up there.
Yeah, I thought they would have started falling back by now, but they haven't, and they're gonna get some help here from the 40 and the 67.
93 sticks to the inside lane to block the 5 and the 9, and if they wanted to keep McBride and George behind him, they've done an excellent job of doing so far as we come back to 15 to go. Kolarski noses ahead, and I wonder if he'll stay up there, if he'll try to drop down. Looks like he'll stay up top for now. And I heard a little bit of rumbling of some lap traffic. If we jump on board and we look ahead, you can see way up the road there is some lap cars. And I believe it's Gottschalk and Leclerc.
Yeah, I mean, that
and
is...
Runkle. Actually, it's Leclerc and Runkle.
Yeah.
That are the lap cars. This front pack, they're battling pretty hard here, Finney, and one little mistake, and it could take all 7 of these cars out.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them want that, so it's one of the situations where you gotta have a lot of giving, a lot of take, because there's a lot at stake, especially for the 93, 21, and the 5. The other guys, not so much. If anything, it's just another race loss, but these guys are worried about a championship here. But they're all sitting pretty nicely and safe for maybe the 93.
All right, well, now we get to see what happens now that the 39 is out in front of the 93, that the 40 and the 67 have come and pushed Cohan forward. Now, that's kind of exposed their plan. They don't have the 5 box in anymore with the 9 car because they're pushing that whole outside lane forward. So will they stay up top, or will the 39 drop in and cycle the 93 back to 3rd or 4th? It looks like they're going to stay there and let McQuistion drive up alongside. I think they're really trying to help McQuistion in that number 93 car.
Yeah, it seems like it. And again, this is to the favor of the 39 and the 21. I think they're just kind of saving face for the end of it, and then they're going to try to bolt around. Because they're really, again, there is no point. They're in a very controlling position on the track.
Best battle on the racetrack right now. Filarski has a nose ahead of Travis McQuistion as we come out of turn 2. Lap traffic getting ever so closer. Leclerc and Runkle up the road. They will be a factor, but I don't see it being that big of a deal. I think they'll probably just move out of the way and let these guys by, but it could break the momentum of one of the 2 lines. We've yet to see which one. Getting down to it, under 10 minutes of racing left here at Talladega Superspeedway for the 14th round of the Rigshare Fuel Cup Series Finals.
Now it's really starting to get into the nitty-gritty. Well, these guys have been relatively patient with each other, but again, I think this is guys starting to bide their time, knowing that it's not over yet, and if you try to make the move now, you kind of run into a chance of being overtaken again.
So, oh yeah, this is too early to go for sure. There's not, I mean, back in the days of the 2-car Tango, you could come from 30th to 1st in 5 laps, but you can certainly go 7th to 1st in 3 laps. And I think these guys might wait till under 5 to go to make their moves. I do think, though, that the Chevrolets have to be more aggressive because it's obviously showing that the Toyota guys are working together, and it's going to make their progress harder.
Yeah, I think their best shot is really when they start fighting each other.
Yeah, they're just outnumbered, really. I mean, they have 3 Toyotas to 2 Chevys.
And outpositioned as well because they're stuck towards, at least the 5 of McBride stuck to the inside as you see the lap cars of Leclerc and Ronco staying to the outside. Nice job on those guys to stay out of this.
And it won't affect the lead battle here, but we talk about the being outnumbered, but that's assuming Buchanan doesn't help the 5 and the 9. So this is where the question comes in here, Finian. If you're Zach Buchanan, you see the Toyotas that have been so dominant here today. Do you go with them, or do you go with the guy that led half the race in the number 5 of McBride?
I don't know. It depends on where Buchanan's allegiance align. I don't know what a lie is, but
we're coming to 10 to go here, Finian. So time to go now. If you're back there, if you're Brad Collins, you got to start making something happen because you have no friends up front.
Yeah, he's got no friends, and that's kind of part of the problem is that he doesn't really have many people to work with. He can try to stick behind the 21 and the 39, but they're going to leave them the instant they get clear. So he is kind of screwed in this situation. He doesn't have many friends to work with.
Well, I mean, you get screwed one way, but the other way you don't have anybody to serve.
Yeah,
you can go up here, you can duke and dive and roll the dice. It doesn't matter because you're not going to anger anybody in terms of teammate. You might anger them as a competitor.
Yeah.
But the stranglehold the front 3 have on the rest of the field is just impressive to watch. Having the 2 guys in the outside lane boxing in McBride and George, and then having McQuistion hold that inside line, it's working out really, really well.
Yeah, I'd say really the only way, and I was just about to say that, is the 5 and the 9 jump up to the top side.
It stranded McQuistion.
Yeah, and I was literally just going to say that what they should do is that the 9 should let the 5 back up so he can get clear on the top side and jump around, and did exactly that.
So here's the move. So Filarski's going to drop to the inside lane. Cohan will block the outside now. This is excellent teamwork in action here because they had a plan for when this was going to happen here, Finney. And so all Cohan has to do is hold up that outside lane. McQuistion and Filarski can push out front again. Filarski jumps up high and they're back where they were.
Yeah, the only problem that lies in this is that the 5 and the 9 have some more room to work with now, as they're not trapped to the inside lane. They could have another lane to potentially work around Cohan if they need to. So that's the only problem that lies in this. But yeah, again, have a great contingency plan from these guys, from both groups of drivers. So it
was smart of the 5 and the 9 to get themselves out of that situation because they didn't have a whole lot of time to mess around. They had to figure something out quick, and they have done that.
So what you're seeing now is a 200-mile-an-hour game of chess between.
And the Chevys made the first move.
Yeah, and I think that just perfectly shows that this type of racing is a lot more than just flooring it to the ground. It requires a lot of thought than a lot of other racetracks and planning out your moves. So
look at the 21 holding up that outside lane, the 39 and the 93 pushing forward, Finian, and it's working out. The 93 back up into second for now. Now, the problem is they're going to wait for that 67 to get behind the 93 so they can move the 39 out of the way and move McQuistion back up to the lead. But that's counting on Brad Collins going up there and pushing McQuistion.
Interested seeing Buchanan notably making a little bit of a gap for himself from these guys. So I kind of wonder if he's going to plan up a run. Yeah,
it's a really tricky thing to time. The draft isn't really strong enough to do that necessarily. You can do it from the front. You can back people up and then go, but it's very, very tricky to time that out just right, especially with 7 to go. I think that's a little bit premature. He might actually lose the draft here if he's not careful. So Filarski still leads, but McQuistion pushing him from behind. And will Cohan drop in behind? Looked like he did for a second, but he'll drop back to the outside line in front of the 5.
Yeah, I think the moment that Cohan leaves that line is where the 5 and the 9 are going to shine. So I think he knows that, and they're actually falling way back behind. Yeah. So Cohan's forced them to fall all the way to the rear of this pack.
But now look where the 5 and the 9 are, Finney. They're back in 5th and 6th. They have a long way to go to get to the leaders.
A long way to go, but now they got clean air to the outside, so they got to time a run where they can get around the 21, and then although the problem is that the 39 might come up to block. So a lot of things at play here.
Well, the only thing that I'm worried about if I'm McQuistion and Filarski is that 67. Remember, he has no allegiance up here. He's going to do whatever he wants to do, and that mucks up their plan. The Toyotas would much rather have it be 1, 2, 3, but they're 1, 2, 4 right now with the 67 of Collins, the meat and the sandwich. Cohan's really holding up the 5 and the 9.
Yeah.
There got to be some frustration boiling behind the helmets of the 5 and 9. See them jumping out of line here a little bit, maybe taking a look. They're running out of time. 5 to go is when I said you got to move, and they're going to have to now. Coming to 5 laps to go, McQuistion in second. Filarski leads. Any one of these top 4 drivers is really desperate to win a race. Obviously, McBride and George Buchanan all want it as well. Look at Collins looking pretty racy now in the rear bumper of McQuistion.
And again, that's something else to point out too. 4 of these 7 drivers have really no other point than being here than to win. They don't really care. I doubt they care too much about where they finish in the points. They're not getting any money paid for where they finish, so they just want to win. So that's going to leave up to a lot of aggression, and I'm sure that these other guys in the playoffs worried about points are probably not going to like that too much, as they got to worry about every single point that they can get. So going to be an interesting dynamic between the guys who have something to lose and the guys who have nothing to lose.
And here comes the 5 up to the outside with the 9. The 21 goes to block, but doesn't get there in time. And here comes Rhett McBride now with a push from his teammate. 4 laps to go when we get to the line, and Brad Collins jumps out for a moment. This is going to expose the vulnerability of McQuistion and Filarski out front.
Yeah, great job by the 5 and the 9 to catch Cohen out on surprise. That's what they needed to do here. 4 laps to go.
Will the 67 jump out in front? The 5 and 9 lost momentum, and the 21 is able to get back in front.
Yeah, Cohen did a great job chasing them up the track. I thought they would have had enough, but here they come on the back straightaway. I think this should be enough for them. Well, actually, not quite.
Yeah, talk about a chess match here, Finney. Look at this 67 all over. 21 drops to the inside. That's going to push the 67 out to the middle groove here, and the 5 and the 9 are going to follow him through, maybe push the 67 to lead. No, go into a third lane.
Yeah, Collins didn't look committed there going to the outside lane. That forced the 5 and the 9 to check up, although now they have 3 cars to work out here up top. Buchanan has lost the draft. It's now down to these 6 cars. They see McQuistion late move to the top. He's going to make it work. And now Filarski and Cohen are stranded on the bottom.
Yeah, that was a very late move by the 93, but he made it work, and he's going to drive to the lead, and will clear Filarski by the time they get to turn 1, but McQuistion cannot jump out of line here. And he does! That's a very risky move, Finney, in exposing the 67 out to clean air with the 5 and the 9 behind him.
Yeah, interesting move there. I think he felt like the 39's a stronger pusher than the 67. You see, Filarski pushed Collins up
the 39 of Filarski out of control in the back straightaway. Caution's out.
Caution is out, and that's the race right there. McQuistion. Travis McQuistion's going to take the win here.
Wow, what a finish here. Travis McQuistion will win, but the cause for the caution was the 67 car. Getting all wadded up there on the back straightaway. Let's go back and take a look at what caused it. Didn't really get a great look. There you go. The 39 pushes the 67 up. Oh, right there. Contact with the door. That puts the 67 in the fence. That was all it took. And the question now becomes, Finian, is this the 39's fault?
I would honestly say so. He came really far up out of line.
Yeah, he pulled across the lane there, and
yeah, he pulled over way over the middle of the track to try to keep the 67 out of it. So I would kind of put blame on Filarski there, being a little bit too aggressive on that block.
Yep. I mean, this is what restricted plate racing forces you to do, though, here, Finian. You got to protect your spots, you got to protect your teammates, and that's what happened here. Drifts up the racetrack, and then at the last second, a little bit more. And that was too much. Right on board with the number 9 as well. Got a pretty good view of this. Right there, 39 bounces off the 67. And 39 did a great job hanging on to his race car. But with 3 laps to go, the caution flies, and that will give the win to Travis McQuistion. And excellently played by the Toyota teammates, McQuistion, Cohan, and Filarski, to make that work.
Yeah, and especially to McQuistion in general, just fantastic performance all day. He played all his cards right, did all the moves he did. And that move he pulled up to the top side
that
and
was
back
a race-saving moment,
yeah,
for sure.
That was a race-winning move right there from the 93. And again, really earned it this season. Had some great performances, and finally has been able to end up on top.
Yeah, it's taken him 14 races to get here. And a little bit of help from his teammates helped him out. But there's the white flag in the air under caution here at Talladega. But Rhett McBride will have to settle for second. But ultimately a good day for that number 5. Even after he dominated most of the race, they looked like they were in a stranglehold by the other teammates. And the McBride and George managed to finish second and third through all that chaos.
Yeah, they did a great job of avoiding that. It could have been collected in that rack, although it shouldn't have hurt them too much because they had a significant gap over 8th place. But yeah, great job nonetheless for those drivers. And also Perry had a good rebound from that. He's going to finish in 8th.
Yeah, let's talk about the rest of the field here, Phineas. So Brad Collins will maintain his 7th spot as long as he can finish this lap, which looks like he will be able to. Gabriel Perry 8th. Will Roberts rebounds for 9th after that pit road incident, and Andrew Cardinale steals the top 10 out of this whole thing. And Norman Pelletier also screwed up the pit stop sequence, will come home 11th. Justin Rodden 12th. Leclerc 13th. That's Chalk 14th in the number 18 Toyota Camry. Tim Silliman 15th. Not a great day for that number 6 car, as we mentioned. Rick Thompson, perseverance is what I would say happened today for the number 76.
Yeah, although, again, waiting for confirmation officially, but I believe Thompson will be the one that would be eliminated.
Johnny Martin will take home 18th. Fred Thompson finishes just in front in 17th. Kevin Bartelt, never really a factor in this race, and got the nose damage, presumably with Don Runkle Jr., and that led to a 19th place finish for the 51. Evan Adams, again, and also persevered 4 laps down, but will come home with a 20th place finish here tonight. Clean car, though.
Yeah, that's one. Actually, he does have a little bit of right front damage, but nonetheless, clean car.
Who also has a clean car is Travis McQuistion, and dodged the wreck early. Played the pit stop. Actually, honestly, another game-changing moment was the pit stop sequence when he beat the 39 off of pit road.
Yeah, definitely a great job there from his pit crew there, getting him out in front and pretty much stay there for nearly for the most part of that. He was towards the front. I don't think he actually led most of those laps, but led the only lap that counted at the end when they came to the caution. So, again, fantastic job from McQuiston.
Through the tri-oval for the final time here at Talladega, round number 14. The Unreal 250 goes to Travis McQuistion in the number 93 Craftsman Toyota. After a long season, he'll finally collect his first checkered flag, and it'll vault him into the next round of the Fuel Finals.
Now the driver's really got to worry now with this win. That's going to put him several points ahead of Timothy Johnston. So that's going to really help him going in. And you see everyone giving some congratulatory bumps for the win.
And he'll come back around, and we'll stay put for burnouts here. There's the other teammates, Pelletier, coming up to congratulate him as well. And the car was so perfectly clean. Now it's got a couple dents on all the corners, but lots of celebration going on. McQuistion very well respected here within the Fuel League. Oh, man, a couple cars taking a spill on the back straightaway. What a race. We documented McQuistion has had some good runs, has had some bad runs, has had some bad luck, has had some good luck, but here today, excellent teamwork by Cohan and Filarski. McQuistion comes out on top. Tyler Dulger coming up to celebrate with him as well. Dulger finishes 27th, is 75 laps down, came back out just to congratulate McQuistion. Classy stuff there. Pilarski's still out on track here. I wonder if he'll join him for the burnouts. Pelletier comes around. Dulger coming up as well. And will we see a whole team burnout here, Finian?
I think we might.
Well, that's cool. That's pretty cool.
Oh, they didn't hit each other somehow.
Yeah, Cohan's out here somewhere as well. There he is. He's over there
he's trying to
doing
fly.
Cohan things. But 4-car burnout here. But the winner, that of the driver of the number 93, Travis McQuistion. I guess this is why they institute the car limits. They got 5 cars out here.
Almost hit him.
Almost killed the fun there. But McQuistion wins the Unreal 250 at Talladega. We'll talk to him and a couple others here in just a moment. Welcome back live here to SimTV. We're here with race winner Travis McQuistion. And Travis, I know that sounds pretty dang good. It's been a long season, 14 races in. You finally collect a checkered flag on the day you needed it the most. Tell us about that race, especially those last 40 or so laps working with your teammates.
Yeah, that was really exciting. First, thank you for doing the broadcast here, but I want to thank my teammates for everything that they did there. We had a plan going in that we wanted to get as many points as we could at halfway, so we ran pretty hard, and then we pushed all the way there to the end, and we knew we had to split up those leaders, so we split up, and we knew one of us would win. That's all we were going for, and I just want to thank them for not wrecking us when we tried that, but then also my teammates for staying with me.
Well, it's certainly fun to watch. We saw it was almost. I hope this was on purpose because it was awesome to watch. But when you were on the inside lane protecting from the 5 and the 9, and then Filarski and Cohen were up in the top groove, was that all coordinated? Because the way that you had the 5 and the 9 boxed in was absolutely incredible.
Actually, yeah, that was the plan. We knew that when they were catching us, we had to split them, like get them somewhere, either top or bottom. And so when they went to the bottom, it worked out really well because they're pushing me. You know, they know what they're doing up top. But when they went to the top side, it was kind of just me on the bottom. We had to kind of rearrange some stuff to get it to work. But I'm just glad that the plan came together and it worked.
All right, well, obviously this is going to vault you into the next round of the Fuel Finals. How do you like your chances moving forward? We go to some different racetracks coming up, and we've seen you have some speed here in the later races. So what do you think about your chances in the next couple of weeks?
There's a lot of fast guys out there, so I'm hoping to make it out of next week and see what we can do. But I think Atlanta's next week, and I'm all right there. But definitely, there's some pretty fast guys, so I'm just going to have to do some work and hopefully get some. All
right, Travis. Well, thanks for talking to us, and congrats on your victory tonight. It was fun watching you up front, and good thing to see a Toyota in victory lane, especially after you're watching Cohan miss out so many times this season. Good luck next week. We'll talk to you later.
Right, thank you.
No problem. Next one up will be Rhett McBride, the driver of the number 5 car. And Rhett, I know you're disappointed a little bit because you led the majority of the first half of that race alongside the 2 of Greg Evans, but had to work around the teammates of McQuistion, Filarski, and Cohan. Ultimately finished second. What did you need to get one spot better?
Just needed it to stay green. I had Thomas with me. I mean, we did everything we wanted to do throughout the race. I mean, we worked really well together, and if it had stayed green, man, we were in a good spot because we had some plans for Nick. Not bad plans, but yeah, it was going to get interesting for sure. And I felt like we had a good plan put together. So we just wish it could have gone green to the end there, but it was fun either way.
After you came out of pit road, you were down a couple seconds on that lead group. Did you have any doubts that you'd be able to catch him?
Not really. If it, it was all, everybody did the right thing and stayed together, and I kind of keyed the mic up and said, look, we could settle it later, but we got to work together to catch back up to him. So I felt like if everybody worked together, we should have, I think we had 4 or 5 cars. I don't know how many we had back there, but yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. We just had to work together to catch back up.
All right, Rhett, well, nice solid top 5 finish for you, and good luck heading on in the next round of the Fuel Finals.
Okay, man. Thanks.
No problem. Next driver to talk to will be the number 9 car of Thomas George. Thomas, that was quite the race you had there, and Rhett McBride, you worked with him a bunch, but came up just a couple spots short. Did you need the rest of it to go green, or do you think you could have done something a couple laps earlier to get the win?
Oh, before that caution came out, we were going to the front. There is no doubt in my mind about that. So we've been setting. We knew what they were doing ahead. It's because they knew me and Red and I. If John Cadell's watching this, he'll be upset that I use improper grammar. But myself and Red, we were trying to. We can work at these plate tracks really well together, and if we hadn't lost Greg early in the race, we would have had the 3rd one there. We know how to really kind of run these plate tracks, and you saw it, I'm sure, earlier in the race where we were just, I would let Rhett by, and then he take the lead, I take the lead from Rhett. We were just kind of trying to keep the pack behind us and kind of control it as best we could. But Talladega, you can't control everything. And then, I had Greg behind us there to just be our safety barrier just in case. So it sucks that he got taken out like the way he did, but he has enough of a cushion to where it doesn't kill him too bad. But If it had gone green, I'm 100% sure we would have gotten it, because just as the 67 have moved up the track and Red had made the move to the inside, and we were going to go 3 wide, and we were just going to go straight to the front because we had saved our tires enough and just saved enough of the I guess oil temp and all that good stuff so I could push him, and then we were just going to go right to the end there.
All right, Thomas. Well, nice, solid top 3 finish for you. Just a couple spots short, but I know you needed to go green, but still a great finish for you for the end of the race, and good luck next week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for broadcasting.
No problem. Next gentleman we'll have in the booth is Calvin Filarski. And Calvin, we haven't been able to talk to you on great terms yet this year, but a solid top 5 finish. I know you wanted a couple spots better, but excellent teamwork there the last couple laps to get McQuistion the victory. But walk us through really everything from the pit stop onward.
Man, missing that first wreck was obviously crucial. But luckily there's no yellow. We were able to keep things moving forward. That pit stop, we were trying to figure out all of our fuel. Like coming up to turn 4, we were figuring out fuel, and everyone just nailed. At least me and Nick and Travis all nailed our box really well. Coming out of there, we linked up right away, which for me never happens at a plate track. I'm always like way behind everybody, hoping a caution comes out and stacks us back up. But went out there and led like 20, 25, 26 laps, and was just there for my team at the end. I wanted to make sure you got the best finish you could to get some points for the playoffs. Shame for Brad. I did miscommunication between me and Nick. Nick was telling me that the high line was coming, and I did not realize they'd already came, and they were at my door already. So I've been drifting up every single lap up until then. Everyone behind me saw it, but I did not realize Brad was at my door, and sucks for him because I know he definitely had a run to take Travis to the line on those last 2 laps if we had let him get there, but unfortunately I took him out.
Well, it's a solid finish for you tonight. Are there any tracks left on the calendar that you have circled that you think you might have a chance to win at? Because I know you're real close today, and I know you're hungry for a win.
Nope.
Well, simple enough, I guess.
No, this is my shot. But me and Travis have been friends for a long time. I had no problem helping him out. Big team effort here. Shout out to Norm, shout out to Tyler, and everyone else helping us out. And welcome back to SimTV Rigshare Cup Series.
Yeah, it was a great way to come back. But thanks for talking to us, Calvin, and good luck next week.
Have a great night, guys.
You too. And last but certainly not least, the driver of the number 21, Nick Cohan. Nick, a couple spots short again here tonight. You had a quick car, and I know if things had gone green, it might have been a little bit different. But a nice, solid top 5 finish. Walk us through those last couple laps.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't know what this year I've been pretty good at super speedway racing, which is normally not the case. I'm normally just hang in the back and don't go anywhere. But I put myself in the right position tonight. Made sure I stuck with Travis and Gabe and Calvin and Norm. We tried to stick together up in the top 10 as best we could. We got shuffled there in the pit stops, so. Obviously just tried to keep me and Travis in contention because we're trying to, make it to the next round. And Calvin, I know he wanted to win that bad too. So, Disney Motorsports and PMS works together. So, tried to get the 1, 2, 3, but it did work out. But at least one of us got it. It was a big chess match there at the end between Dizzy and PMS versus Steelhorse Racing there, because we were both right in the middle and the bottom, so SHR was trying to get by us. So we were just talking about that down in the waiting room. It was a lot of fun trying to figure out, how to mix it up there those last couple laps. But congrats to Travis. That was just he ran a great race tonight.
Well, I asked Calvin the same thing, and I'm going to ask you as well. We got a couple weeks left in this series, and you've been winless so far in the Cup Series. I know you've been so close so many times. What track is the one that got you have circled on your calendar in the next coming weeks?
Atlanta is. I mean, we only have 3 races, and out of the last 3, Atlanta and Vegas are 2 really good tracks for me. Gateway is normally not. I like the track. I like driving it, but I just don't seem to have the speed as I do at any other track. But Atlanta, I really like it because I like the old tracks with the old surface. Like I really like the old Pocono with all the bumps and stuff because it makes you really have to drive the car I mean, white knuckle pretty much the whole race. And Atlanta's got a lot of bumps like that. And not only does it have a lot of bumps, but in turn 1 and 2, you have the bottom and the middle and the top groove that come in. So I'm looking forward to next week. I know these points are getting really, really tight, though, so it's going to be interesting at Gateway. But hopefully we can make the final 3 there for Vegas, and we can give Greg a run for his money.
All right, Nick. Well, pleasure talking to you again. Nice solid top 5, and good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Have a great night. Wow. All right. Do we have an official result on who's out, Finian?
Yeah, this is actually surprising to me. So actually, the one who will be going home out of the playoffs will be Timothy Johnson, because I thought that he would have just been able to be scored in 30th, but in fact he wasn't scored at all. So he didn't earn those crucial extra 10 points. He's just 5 points behind Rick Thompson, but that's going to be enough to kick him out. Wow, so a shame for Timothy Johnson. And again, didn't have a very good week at Pocono either a couple weeks ago, so that certainly hurt his chances. But not starting the race is not a good way to move forward. So Timothy Johnson eliminated from the Fuel Finals, and we'll continue next week with 6 drivers: Travis McQuistion, Rhett McBride, Nick Cohan, Gabriel Perry, Rick Thompson. That's what's coming up in the next couple weeks, and we got Atlanta next week. And then the week after that is Gateway. Oh, and I forgot to mention Greg Evans. Of course, we should mention Greg Evans. He's killing everyone. But next week, Atlanta. The week after, Gateway. That's a fun one. And then we go to Las Vegas for the season finale. Coming up tomorrow night, Virtual Mars Series Racing from Virginia International Raceway. Thursday night action, Detroit Duels with the Fuel IndyCar League. Friday night, Hardline action from Michigan. Saturday, Virtual Racing League from New Hampshire. Thank you, New Hampshire. That's what's coming up here on SimTV. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.